So how's everybody doing? Welcome to an early edition of Here's the Thing at the End of the Day, Football Talk. It's Hank and we have Ricky. Ricky, what are we talking about today?
So today we're gonna just review a bit more of the divisional round games a bit. We're gonna talk about the Brady injury alongside the quote unquote conspiracy theories of the NFL, and then we'll just go over the upcoming games on Sunday or tomorrow.
Okay.
So
that's good.
Yeah.
All right. So probably talk about the Eagles Falcons game first.
Okay. Yeah. So me personally, like as an outsider, like just watching this as a football fan, it was a good game if you're into defense.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not into defense, it was one of the most boring games. Me personally, I'm not in the defense. I'm more into offense. So the game was kind of boring.
Also, if it's not your team, it's also
yeah, that too. But like me personally, I kind of throw that out of the window. I kind of just watch it for the sake of just watching it. But I will say this. We talked about this, I believe, on Saturday, and everything I said the Eagles had to do, they did. Plain and simple. Run the ball, play keep away, and play stingy defense, and they did all three phases of the game to get the W. But I will tell you this. If they go out on Sunday and they do the same thing that they did, I don't think they're going to be able to beat Minnesota because Minnesota has to do the same game plan. And I think Minnesota is more equipped to handle that game plan.
Yeah.
But we're getting hard ahead of ourselves. But looking back at this game, I think Atlanta had every opportunity to put the game away, but they didn't. And that's why Philly won. No disrespect, but, you know, when you watch
the issue was the fact that the game probably should have been like 15-3.
It really should have. It really should have.
It should have been way more of a blowout than it actually was. I think it's ridiculous that Atlanta has the best offense in the playoffs right now. Right? Or even when they started, they had the best offensive players, they had the best weapons, they had the best playmakers. And they
could argue that's Pittsburgh, but
yeah, but at the same time,
I get what you mean. No, I get what you mean.
They had a double base running attack, and they weren't able to do anything with that.
And I want to highlight the last drive of the game for hold up, let me pull up on my phone.
That was the gutsiest drive I've ever seen.
Okay,
so they had fourth and in their own territory, and they went for it, and they got it.
Here's how the drive kind of transpired. So pretty much it got kickoff, and I knew Atlanta's going to drive for the win. So it was a 7-yard run by Tevin Coleman, and this is huge because this kind of reminded me of the championship game in the college football playoff. I know it's college football, but still, I think Tevin Coleman should have gotten the ball more. He was doing a much better job than Freeman because even on this drive, it was pretty much shown. So you had a 7-yard run, 7-yard pass, a loss of 5 by Freeman, 9-yard pass. Then there was an incomplete pass. Then on 4th and 6, there was the 20-yard pass.
Yeah.
Devontae Freeman, run for no gain. 12-yard pass to Julio Jones. This sets him up in the red zone, I believe. Then you get Taylor Gabriel, 7-yard reception. 10-yard run. Now, this is what was key. There was a 10-yard run by Tevin Coleman that put him in the red zone. It's officially, like in the 10 or in the 5. And then they proceeded to pass 4 straight times. Now, look, I don't have a problem if you call a pass play, right? Me thinking that what I was thinking was you run at least another play with Tevin Coleman because he set you up.
Yeah. Well, they had a chance to put the game on ice. It's just the issue, like, you keep running the ball and you keep running the clock out and allow your team to be the last team that you basically want to be the last team that touches the ball with more than 10 seconds left or something, or less than 10 seconds left or something like that. So, and that's just not what they did at all. They did the opposite of that. and it ended up costing them the game because the Eagles played really well in the red zone. You could say they also played well in the red zone on that the other time they were in the red zone, but they weren't able to bring Matt Ryan down, and he threw that touchdown to Freeman. But Mick Foles is going to have to put the ball in the end zone. He has to. He has to put the ball in the end zone. And that's something that they were unable to do during the game. You there, Ricky? Hold on. Hold on. So I'll just continue to. I think maybe his internet went out or something like that. But I do think that the internet died. R.I.P. So I do feel like the Falcons had every chance in the world to win that game, but the Eagles made the correct defensive stands. The Eagles won the field position battle. The Eagles basically built up. You still there?
1 second. Hold up. Give me a sec.
So the Eagles basically built two really long drives, one that went for a touchdown and one that went for a field goal, and one really lucky, fluky drive at the very end of the first half to get themselves, one behind in a 10-9 game. So the Eagles just made the plays that they needed to make, but the game.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. The game really
All right, cool.
been like the game really should have been like 15-3.
Okay, so could you fill me on what you were talking about?
I was just talking about how like the Eagles just made the plays that they needed to make in the game to win,
Okay, yeah, because if I remember correctly, there was a drive where Philly literally milked the clock out. I think it was like an 8-minute drive that pretty much sealed it, and that's what killed Atlanta was the fact that they were like the defense. The defense is what got them to the next round, and a lot of people don't understand that because, like for example, if people watch the Rams game when they were facing the Rams, yeah, sure, the Falcons scored 26 points, but it was because the Rams made crucial mistakes, number one. And number two, the fact that their defense pretty much stopped the Rams when they had to so that their offense could get a chance to score. And that's what pretty much epitomized the game was that Keanu Neal fail of an interception.
Oh yeah,
he hit his knee.
Oh yeah, that's what I was saying. They had a peak chance to end a first half end of the first half drive, but they let Philly score, and that was really you got to score within 2 minutes. Some of the best teams do it any way you can, and the Eagles were able to get in a 51, either a 51 or a 58 field on one of those.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
that really costed the Falcons because that's like a gimme interception. Like the ball goes right to you, and you basically gave it to the other team. Like you got pressure on Foles, and he delivered a pass that most quarterbacks don't really want to throw. And now the Eagles are down by 1 point instead of 4. So yeah, that's
just like then it's game playing because literally once you get to that kind of score, now okay, I can afford to continue to do what I got to do because it's still keeping me in this game. And yeah, sure, Philly only put up 15 points, but see, what kind of worried me, and then I understand why Philly, not necessarily you, Hank, but some Eagles fans were getting at me like, oh, you doubted us. It's like, no. The reason why people doubted you because they didn't know what we were going to see. Me personally, found a way to win. It was just they felt like they could still run that Carson Wentz offense with Nick Foles, but Nick Foles can't do that.
Yeah, he's not nearly fast enough. You're definitely gonna have to get in that run pass option. I want to see Nick Foles run. I know people don't want to see that, but like I remember in that 2013 season, Nick Foles ran the ball a few times. You know, maybe
Yeah.
that's something that they figure that they're saving for the Super Bowl if they make it there. But I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So move on to the Patriots game.
Okay. This is probably going to be the easiest to get out of the way. Me personally, I saw this coming. Like we knew that the Titans were not like yeah. Even though they scored the first touchdown of the game,
Yeah,
we all knew it was a matter of time before
before the refs showed up. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
But
I
yeah,
will. I will mention the refs better not do that crap in the next round because that some of that was the most egregious officiating I've ever seen. Some of it,
and
not
it's
all
really
of it.
during a Patriots game when like Patriots fans like Roger Goodell hates us. Keep peddling that, like keep peddling that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like yeah, it's not like you pretty much get a silver spoon and it's like you already have 5 rings in this millennium. Keep in mind, it's not like you need another one.
Right.
And that's a whole nother topic for another day in regards
Four
to
more,
Patriots.
Ricky. They need four more, or
Yeah,
else,
we need all.
or else like the NFL is against them.
Yeah, exactly. So anywho, I will say once again, the Titans I think had a chance to win, but the thing was that they tried to do.
They
I don't know
went
what
away
is it.
from what got them those points.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like they were doing everything I thought they had to do. Just play smart football, run the football. Heck, use Marcus Mariota in the running game. But the problem was that um okay. The thing is that we all know that the Patriots play well on their home turf. And I
Yeah,
believe like there's the stat where it's like they say that like Tom Brady is like what was it like he's 16
if
and
he
3
throws,
at home.
oh, I was gonna say if he throws for 50 more passes in a playoff game, he's like 8-3 or something. Or
Okay, I was gonna say like yeah, like half the and like all the other quarterbacks are like a combined 3 and like 27 or whatever.
yeah,
Like it's a ridiculous stat and it's just insane. But I
yeah,
mean like I think but the problem with that is like it's the context of the situation like and it's funny because people like when I was talking to people they'd be like oh I can't stand a quarterback that can't throw more than 300 yards. It's like a quarterback shouldn't have to throw for more than 300 yards if it's not his specialty.
yeah.
It's like Tom Brady, his specialty is to drop back and drop it to his receivers because it's his.
That's what he's been doing for the last 13 years. You know. Um. So I think Ricky's gonna come back and leave, or leave and come back. He's having some issues, some issue. Um. But let's talk about the Steelers Jaguars game real quick. Get something in on that. The Jaguars Steelers game was one of those games where I thought that. You there, Ricky?
Yep, yep, yep.
All right, so we're gonna talk about the Steelers Jaguars game now.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
So I had thought that the Jaguars were gonna win this game, not because they'd already beaten them, but just because I felt like historically the Jaguars play well against the Steelers, and
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened. I mean, that defense got after Ben early. They rattled him. They got good field position. They got the ball down the field. They scored touchdowns on what like basically every drive but one. And
yeah,
and then they made the Steelers play catch up, which they almost did until their head coach was forced to make a decision. Should I onside kick it or should I kick it deep? with a little more than with around what 2 minutes left to go around. And sorry,
Yeah.
you made the wrong decision.
Yeah, because if you pay attention, like literally, okay, let's say for example, he kicks it deep and the Jags don't get it and they don't get that field goal. By that logic, and they score, this game's going to overtime because just off the nature of how the game was played. If he does an onside kick, gives the Jags uh three more points, puts the game up to 10 or whatever.
Mhm.
The Steelers could have easily tied this game up, but my thing is, and this is what I think people need to realize, that this, like, we know that the Steelers offense could put up those points and they did. It was a total collapse by their defense.
Yeah.
Like and people want to be like, and I understand Todd Haley made some dumb calls, but you have to keep in mind that was it Todd Haley's fault that they gave up like 45 points? Was it Mike Tom? And I'm not trying to get the defensive coordinator. I think Todd Haley made some stupid calls in that game to begin with. So
Mhm.
please don't
I,
twist my words. But my thing is that because I've seen people be like, "Oh, Tomlin's the most overrated coach ever," even though he's the same guy that gave you 8 plus, or not 8 plus, 8, 10 plus win seasons in his career, and I don't think he's had a single losing season. The lowest he's had is 8-8,
yeah.
and
Uh,
like,
I agree.
chill to get Mike Tomlin. So
I think it that it really came down to the Steelers really disrespecting the Jaguars.
oh yeah, and then
Out
like them overlooking them.
multiple players who are like, I don't care if I'm in America or Mike Mitchell. I don't care if I'm in America or in Canada or in Haiti. We're still beating the Jaguars because they suck. And what was it? That Tennessee Titans defensive player was like, Blake Bortles. The Jaguars are like the worst, or Blake Bortles is like the worst quarterback. I mean, like once you start openly disrespecting players like that, man, it's motivation. And the thing is, Blake Bortles really didn't do that much in that game.
He didn't
You
have
know,
to. He did he did his job, and and that's another thing people need to realize. Like, I joke about Blake Bortles because there's a whole freaking thing dedicated to Blake Bortles facts, which is hilarious on Twitter. And look, Blake Bortles did what he had to do, and it's like, and this is something I always preach about, is that you don't need, and I am speaking from my own fan base. I have people tell me, Dak, don't hate on Dez because Dak can't throw 300 yards. It's like, well, number one, why should a quarterback have to throw that many yards if he can be successful when the scheme does something different, like i.e. running the football? That's what the Jags did. Run the football, just pass the ball effectively, create no offense, and you got yourselves the W.
mhm.
Reason I chose the Steelers to win was because
And the fact is, you don't need an amazing quarterback to win.
exactly. I
I
mean,
actually got in an argument with a bunch of people who were like, "Oh, the quarterback is the most important position in all points in time." I was like, "Well, you need a quarterback, but
my
I mean,
argument to that would, yeah, like my argument
play
to that
defense
would be,
ball and defensive line, then you probably don't need a good quarterback."
yeah, and like people don't realize, again, like if you need a quarterback to consistently throw 300 yards a game ad nauseum, I think your offense might, like, my thing is like, yes, that's awesome. I want a quarterback to have a good day, but like throwing for as many yards as possible and as many attempts is normally something to go with. Like, it's just weird because people think that they can get cute and just keep passing the ball, but sometimes that doesn't work. With the Patriots, that's their specialty because that's how their system works.
Yeah,
So I mean, and what was I gonna say? The only reason I took the Steelers in this game was because I did not think Jags were going to come out on all cylinders and do what they did because of how I saw versus Buffalo. Like I just wasn't expecting that, but at the same time, I kind of was because I had back that thing in the back of my mind saying like I think Jacksonville can win this game. It was just a matter of I didn't expect it to be a shootout in a sense.
Yeah. I mean, I picked 15-14, so I can't really be talking about that.
Yeah.
All right, Minnesota.
What was the other game ? After Minnesota? Was it the
No. It was Minnesota Saints. That was the last.
oh oh yeah, that's right. Jeez.
Uh, so the Vikings go up 17-0. It's like that scene in Billy Madison where, you know, the villain plays the violin like so well, and then Adam Sandler starts squeaking on the clarinet, and he's like, he's good, and he like points to him. That was
Yeah.
like what I was thinking during the game because I was like, wow, it's 17-0. I said that I wanted the Vikings because I wanted no part of Drew Brees, and he obviously proved why I wanted no part of Drew Brees in the playoffs because he's just so sound in almost everything he does. He's one of those guys. He's like Brady, like Rodgers, who, if you are down by a certain amount of points, you really want both of them. If you're down by
And
10, you want those guys to help you come back.
yeah, and I knew like, and I was up in New York, so I had a chance to glimpse the game, but I did see the last play. I got a chance to see the last play, obviously. But
Like the grace, that was like a grace of God kind of play.
yeah. But look, when they went up 17-0, I was like, wow, they're just killing. But at the same time, I was like, I'm not going to be surprised if Drew Brees leads a crazy comeback.
And I'm
And
glad he did because he kind of showed that the Vikings aren't bulletproof.
but at the
You know,
same time, it goes to show you that the Vikings, like here's my thing: if say for example the Vikings won 20 to like I don't know 7, let's just say that was the final score.
Mhm.
Is you normally want to win a close game as opposed to winning a blowout because if you win a blowout, yeah, sure, that gives you confidence, but it doesn't keep you on your toes. With that game, it kept the Minnesota Vikings on their toes, and yeah, they won about off of a miracle touchdown, which we'll get into. But and I'm not trying to give Philly like no chance in heck of winning. It's just I know that it's a 50-50 game personally.
Yeah, it really is.
But the thing is like I don't know what the frig happened with the Saints, but considering how their defense play, but let me just say this. People out there telling Marcus Williams to like give him hate, please don't, because he's the reason that the Saints even got back into the game.
Yeah,
Like what was it? It was an interception was it to put him up, like put him in a score of like 14-20 or whatever. I don't remember, but
like that. But I mean,
and then a blocked punt. Yeah,
just like that play, he did like everything that they teach you not to do. Like it was almost like he was trying to avoid contact.
because I think here's my logic in his head. He's probably thinking if I hit him, I'm gonna get the pass interference call. But like, and I'm not trying to say that that would have been the case, obviously,
But it
but
was a bang bang play.
exactly, and and just think about it. Like there could have been a situation where like here's the thing. If he tackles him, right, and he doesn't get him out of bounds, like let's say he tackles him right there, game's over. But at the same time, like, and if I bring up this point, if he brought up a pass interference call, right,
Yeah.
and the Vikings went to win the game, the same reaction would have been like, "Oh, thanks a lot, Marcus Williams." I think it's been like overblown based off of what happened. But you got to consider the fact it was a perfect throw by Case Keenum as well, a perfect catch by Diggs, also to stay in bounds. And and I want to hear your thoughts on this, right? Because I actually am I am in favor of this to an extent because I feel like it's completely dumb to kick the extra point after a walk off. And I
Good.
understand for the nature of the rule, but I think that when you look at it, we all know that
they won the game, so it's pretty much useless. So I think they need to probably write a rule in there. And I know it's like one of those once in a lifetime things or whatever, but I think like when time expires, you don't have to kick an extra point. Kind of just like
I really don't
taboo.
one way or another.
But anywho, that's a topic for another day. But
They don't kick the field goal. They just kneel it. They'll like go for two, and then
no, I understand that. I understand that, but the thing is, it just feels like a wasted play, and it's
it
just a
kind of
waste of
is.
time.
I
That's
mean,
the point I was trying to get at, but you know what I mean.
I think eventually they're just going to get rid of the extra point entirely, which is
Yeah.
what they've been doing is, having teams like they push the extra point back. But yeah, I mean it was a great game. I'm happy for the Vikings. But
Yeah, it was
man,
a good game. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, what was it? 4 lead changes.
yeah, I now know that the Vikings are beatable. Like in the first half, I was like, damn, we're fucked.
No,
He's my
but
friend.
yeah, but like they are beatable. I mean, clearly, their offensive line has weak spots, especially at right tackle. Cameron Jordan was having a field, well, relatively speaking, he was doing a great job.
Yeah.
And and that's the thing. Like, what kind of intrigues me is that both these teams are so similar, but what I think is going to be the matchup and what's going to be key is the linebacker situation. I
Yeah.
mean, the Eagles, they don't have Jordan Hicks, right?
Yeah.
He's gone for the season. And I mean, he was a key component, and a lot of people wanted to blow it off, but I mean, he was a key component in the run game and some other aspects. But what's going to be key for Minnesota?
Strangely enough, though, the Eagles have actually done better without him. Like,
yeah, I know, which is funny. But yeah, but well, Minnesota, their linebackers are going to see that's what's key against the Philadelphia offense because their linebackers are much more agile, faster. They're more talented, and so if I'm the Eagles, you shouldn't try to don't try to be cute, but at the same time, you want to try and wear them out with the run game. But that's what's key. If Philly cannot get the run game going, the game's over. And I'm not trying to say Nick Foles can't win you the game, but Nick Foles, if he's forced to pass the ball and has to go deep rather than do the RPOs, that's what's going to kill Philly.
Yeah.
Same thing with Minnesota.
You got to get into short, like 3rd and 3, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2 situations. You need to get at least 3 yards on first down every time.
Yeah, exactly. And you had to milk the clock. Like you have to, but the key thing is you can't milk the clock and kick a field goal because if let's say Minnesota scores it, like, and this is my thing, like you also have to keep pace with Minnesota if they start scoring because if like here's my thing, and I'm not trying to again take Philly out, but if Minnesota is 14,
yeah, it might be
right,
over.
and but in the sense that Philly can't get anything going offensively, and it's like the second quarter, it's going to be over because Philly literally needs to run the ball, and they got to play with the lead because if they can do that, but if Minnesota gets going and they start playing good and getting into it, Philly is going to be in trouble. And I'm not saying this as a biased fan, but it's true. Like if Philly is in a situation with Nick Foles, and that's if let me see. I'm trying to think of a prime example. Like let me see. I don't know anything off the top of my head, but
we'll move on for now. If you think,
let's go. So let's put our tinfoil hats on. Talk about conspiracy theories. So Hank, take it away with what you showed me.
I'm kind of livid. Okay, I wake up yesterday. I look at my phone. I look at Facebook. I look at Twitter, and there's what's it called? There's a page that was made by NFL. I guess you could say the NFL Facebook page, and it says it has a picture of Tom Brady and a picture of Case Keenum, Super Bowl, win a trip to the Super Bowl kind of thing, Super Bowl 52.
Mhm.
It says your team is headed to Super Bowl 52, and you could too. When you donate to United Way, you could score 2 club-level seats to watch the Patriots versus the Vikings battle it out for the coveted Super Bowl title. But that's not all. You could also win pregame sideline access plus other perks. Don't pass up this touchdown experience. Donate today for your chance to win big. And this was published in, I guess it was January of 2016. So that was right after, I guess that was right after like 4 days ago. So that was, I don't know how it didn't come out before that, but that's when it came out. And if you search on Google, if you search Vikings Super Bowls, it comes out as Super Bowl 52. Super Bowl. So I'm like looking at this and I'm thinking to myself, what, how, like, the game is, they haven't even played the game yet, and they're already advertising. They're already advertising for the Super Bowl and all that stuff. And then they came out with an apology saying, we didn't mean to. They were sorry. And it's like, how stupid. I hate to call people like idiots and I hate to call people stupid, but whoever is in control of the NFL's Facebook, Twitter, social media page, they need to be fired, like, immediately. And then the second thing you need to do is you need to make one for the Eagles and the Jaguars too. But they haven't.
Yeah.
So
when did the article come out? Could you give me a date?
Not the 16th.
Of this year?
The January 16th, yeah. So 4 days ago.
I think their logic was probably this. Like, okay, the defending Super Bowl champions and the team that's hosting it.
Well, yeah.
Well, you know what I mean? Like, the team that, like, has that. I think it's a coincidence. But at the same time, I think that it was a bad time to do it.
Well, at the same time, they said the NFL admits leaking Vikings-Patriots Super Bowl ad was a regrettable mistake.
Man, can you imagine if that's the Super Bowl matchup?
Well, yeah. Well, it could very well be. But, like, it's like, I was one of those people who was like, I don't care if people are disrespecting us. I don't care if teams are disrespecting us. But if, like, the NFL is literally coming out with this, like, I think I and every Eagles fan has a right to be upset. Because if you have already predetermined, which you're making it obvious that you've already predetermined who's going to be in the Super Bowl, then what's the point of having this game? You know? And then like people disagree with me, but I mean, Roger Goodell giving that 99-year-old Vikings fan, I thought that he gave her NFC Championship games tickets because, like, the next game was the NFC Championship game.
Okay.
But he gave her Super Bowl tickets. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm not her, but, like, let's say I am her, right? I'm a 99-year-old Minnesota Vikings fan. Do I really want, and people were saying, like, oh, she probably would go to the Super Bowl anyway, even if the Vikings weren't there. I'm sorry, like, I can only speak for myself, but if my team got eliminated by another team, I would not go to that game in my own team state.
The Super Bowl, I'm going to see my team play.
Yeah, I'm going to see my team play. I have no reason to go to the Super Bowl if my team isn't playing. And the fact that Roger Goodell did it too with, like, that fat smirk on his face. Like, I understand it's a good thing, and, like, obviously I'm sure she's, like, an amazing person. Like, I mean, she's 99 years old. It's, like, super old. Like, you should be rewarded if you're that old. You mean you shouldn't be getting, like,
well, then here's my thing.
99 years old. But, like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that in public. Do that after, like, do that after the team is already going to the Super Bowl.
Let me put it to you this way, because I know there's a theory out there that the NFL gave Brady and the Patriots Super Bowl 51 because of the Deflategate thing. Like, okay, I need to do this, but they stage the whole thing, like,
It's disrespectful, honestly. It's disrespectful.
I just think it's annoying.
It's disrespectful to the other two teams that are in it because Jacksonville has a legitimate chance and so do the Eagles.
Yeah, exactly. But my problem is that, and what probably could kill the sport, and I'm not trying to say this in the sense of jealousy or hatred, but success of the New England Patriots has led to a lot of people like telling me, like, I don't really watch the NFL anymore because I know it's going to be New England there every year.
Yeah.
I mean, they are arguably the best successful franchise of all time, you could argue.
Of all time.
And if they win another Lombardi, like, here's the thing. I think what could save the NFL is a fresh matchup between two new teams that have not won a Lombardi trophy.
Yeah.
Possibly save the NFL straight, because that shows, hey, our league has parity.
That's probably not going to happen, though.
I'm not trying to be facetious.
More than likely, I am picking my Eagles to win because I basically have to. But I mean, I don't have to, but I want to.
No, you have to.
But like, let's be honest, it's probably going to be the Vikings and the Patriots. Because those were
I think that was my pick.
Yeah. Those are the two darling teams this season. And
then we all know that New England's going to win again. We all know.
BS is not going to work here, though. But it's very upsetting to me because, it's cool to me. It's cool to me if, like, the Vikings win fair and square, but now what you basically did is come out and say, oh,
it's like going to be tainted.
Now all this stuff is being set up. And I mean, I'm going to say this right now. If there's any funny business, I'm going to be red in the face. I will be triggered.
Now, is that for your game or is that for both?
Just for my game.
Okay, I was going to say, like, because this is what annoys me also, is the fact that, do I hate the refs in some instances? Yeah, like, my thing is just be consistent with your calls. Okay,
yeah.
Like, my thing is that I hate it when the game comes down to the nature of how a crew officiates.
Yeah,
and that goes for any team. I'm not talking about my team. I know I've had the postseason woes, especially with the Dez Bryant catch and no catch. This is the issue. The problem with the NFL also, and I hope this doesn't happen in this postseason because it hasn't happened yet, to decide a game. And I swear to God, because we all know the story of this season was what's a catch, and it's cost teams some games.
What's a catch? What's a touchdown? What's a fumble?
And I think the 2014 playoffs, 2015 playoffs technically, they showed that what refereeing could possibly do. And I'm not trying to say that as like an angry Cowboys fan. It's just like that's the nature of the NFL. Like, it was a close game, and that could have decided the game possibly. And for all we know, that's what we're going to remember from you don't want to have a blemish on you. And I hope that the NFL doesn't do any funny business regardless of the game or team.
Yeah. But it's going to happen.
I know it is. Like, there's going to be that one call, but like, I don't mind if it's like early in the game, but like, it depends on the nature of when the call came and what happened.
Yeah.
In my opinion. So,
all right, let's talk about Tom Brady real briefly.
Right? So, for those that don't know, Tom Brady, he officially got put on the questionable to play list or the injury report, whatever. Because
hold on, Ricky.
yeah. It's a trap.
That's a trap.
It's a trap.
Okay, go on. Go on.
And so the report came out that apparently he injured hand, or was it his left hand?
I thought it was his right hand.
Okay, it's his throwing hand. He injured his throwing hand because someone ran into him.
It was Rex
Personally,
Burkholder. It was Rex Burkholder, whatever his name is.
yeah, Rex Burkhead.
Burkhead, yes.
Anywho,
Ran into
so
his. He ran into Rex's Burkhead.
yeah, exactly. So me personally, I don't care what this report says because we all know he's going to play on Sunday, regardless of what the report says. I would be shocked if he doesn't play.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't play too. To me, he's playing. I mean, it's
He
not
is.
even a question. Bill Belichick plays these games all like. I'm sure that nothing's really that bad. He just had Tom Brady wear those gloves just for dramatic purposes, just to like troll people. Like that meme where it's like troll to the max, and it's like a guy typing on the computer, and it's trolling level 100 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
he's gonna play.
Does.
If he doesn't,
we know he's gonna play.
The Patriots are doomed. Like,
oh yeah, if New England has to go with Brian Hoyer, they're gonna lose.
I mean, yeah, Brian Hoyer hasn't been a part of that system in like 5 years.
But I will tell you this: would I be shocked if New England won even without Brady? No, I wouldn't
be shocked either,
because it's the basis of the system.
Yeah,
and I mean, and I will tell you this: Jacksonville just has to keep themselves level-headed considering this report, because regardless of the situation, it's not about you going up against Tom Brady. I know he has a certain skill set. It's about going up against the system of the New England Patriots.
Yeah. No, I agree. And of course, like the first thing that Doug Marrone did was he was like, let's not fool ourselves. The Tom Brady's playing, let's not fool ourselves one bit. And I don't think either of us. It's a trap, just like Admiral Akbar, R.I.P.
Yeah, exactly. And that they can't handle firepower of that magnitude.
We cannot handle the firepower of that magnitude. All right, so let's get to the games.
Okay, so the first game is the Jags and Pats game, the AFC Championship game. For those that don't know, we all know New England's going to win, so I'm taking the Pats 28-18, get the job done. So
I think I picked the Patriots. I don't know what I did, but I picked the Patriots. I think I picked the Patriots.
Let me check. I could actually check real quick. Oh, I got it. You picked 24-19 New England.
Yeah, of course, I think funny business is going to go on, but I mean, the Jacksonville Jaguars have already played against the Patriots in the AFC Championship game in 1996, I believe, and they lost, and the Patriots won on a Mark Brunell interception. So I think the Patriots are going to win this game. I don't think they're going to win this game easily. I think that Brady is going to throw for like 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I actually think that Tom Brady is going to come back in this game. That's my.
What do you mean? Like they're gonna be down and they come back and win?
It's going to be It's going to be like a last drive comeback kind of thing.
Okay, but I will tell you this: if the Jags get up with their game plan, because we know that any team's capable of a comeback, especially this Pats team. Granted, that took a near perfect precision on offense and defense for the Pats, and at the same time mistakes for the Jags. So if I'm the Jags, just stick to the game plan. I mean, it's like they are so well built to beat New England.
Yeah.
But the thing is they just can't get cute. Don't get cute.
And obviously experience might come down to it, but not really.
Well,
I don't know.
Well, by that logic, then Atlanta should be in the NFC Championship game, and New Orleans should be there too.
Yeah, that's true. But I think that it's not going to be an easy. I mean, the Patriots aren't going to win this game easily.
Let me just say this.
this is going to be a modicum of. I think I think that the Patriots are going to be stressed out for a certain period of that game, and then they're just going to come back at the very end.
But I will tell you this: New England has easily the easiest path to a Super Bowl that I've seen in terms of, and I'm not trying to discredit the Jags. It's just the nature of playoff experience.
Titans,
You literally faced a team.
You're talking about the
Teams
Titans
that haven't been in the playoffs, and yeah, well, the Titans and now the Jags. But you haven't. You're literally facing teams, well, in the AFC that haven't made the playoffs in literally a decade, near a decade. So, and then you're gonna get to the Super Bowl against someone that hasn't been there, that has been there but hasn't won. That's what I meant to say. I apologize, but
No
but
worries.
yeah, but
I personally think that it's yeah, I think it's gonna be the Patriots. I know that I don't know what DJ picked. I don't know what his picks.
I think he picked the Jags. I think everyone picked. Josh and DJ went with the Jags, and me and you went with New England. Yeah.
Okay. So I do think that it's going to be the Patriots. I do think it's going to be a close game, and I do think that I think the score is going to be I think the score is going to be 17 or 19-17. Last drive, Brady's going to drive them down the field, and he's going to throw a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah, of all people. But anywho, getting back to the
NFC.
Going on to the next game. This is going to be the bet. Like, the NFC playoffs have been amazing.
Yeah.
The NFC. There was only been one good AFC playoff game, and there's been all the other NFC playoff games, which you could argue the exception of one, have been amazing.
Yeah.
And thank God, because that's why I think the NFC is hands down the best conference.
I know, but they might be the best conference, but that doesn't mean they're definitely going to win.
No, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to win the Super Bowl. I'm saying, in terms of playoff.
In terms of the team,
excitement.
Or the NFC, in terms of the 16 NFC teams versus the 16 AFC teams, the NFC teams were better, is what you're saying.
Yeah, pretty much, and they gave us a bit more excitement. So anywho, so we got Philadelphia coming off of that and victory, as well as the Minnesota Vikings coming off of a game.
The miracle in Minneapolis.
The Minnesota Miracle. Whatever works for you.
I thought it was the. Okay, then it probably is
It's interchangeable. People are using different terms.
Aren't they trying to They're trying to
whatever they brand it, I'll call it. Yeah. Whatever they brand it, I'm calling it. So, but they haven't. I don't know what they're calling it. So, anywho,
whatever they're branding it, I'm calling it the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. So, just mix the words around. Anywho, so this game's going to be primarily a defensive game, in my opinion. I think that, for just to get it out there, I picked the score of 17-14 Minnesota winning at the very end. I even said, don't be surprised if this game goes into overtime. It's going to be close. I would be shocked if it turns into an offensive shootout.
Me too.
But please keep in mind,
if in any case, I think if the Eagles won, it would be a close game. But if it was an offensive shootout, then I would be kind of scared.
Yeah, and it's not like I don't trust Nick Foles to win a shootout, because we've seen him throw 7 touchdowns, but I think he used them all.
Yeah, he used them all. I mean, he won a shootout against the Giants, and that was pretty impressive as a backup quarterback.
I mean, yeah, and I just think, look, we know what Nick Foles is capable of. I just think you got to just play to his strengths. And if Minnesota gets out to a huge lead, I'm talking 14, 17 points. I know they blew the 17 points in the previous round, but that's because they were going up against Drew Brees. So they could be experienced if they go up, be like, hey, this is what we got to do. Just don't do stupid crap. And, But and if I'm Philly, you got to keep it close. And what they did with Atlanta was perfect, because if Atlanta had gotten out to a much larger lead, it would have been probably insurmountable.
Would have been over.
But yeah.
But I think that I mean, I just can't believe that Atlanta hasn't had as good of an offense as they have had this year. It just doesn't make any sense to
Kyle
me.
Shanahan.
Well, yeah, but they were a good offense before Kyle Shanahan. Like a few
I
years.
understand that, but Kyle Shanahan took him over the top.
I know, but I mean, even Kyle Shanahan's first season with the Falcons, they weren't that good of an offense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like these the players can't be loose with the ball.
Oh yeah.
Completely. Ajayi can't be loose with the ball. Clement can't be loose with the ball. Murray, he can't be loose with the ball. And you can't like if the Eagles fumble twice in this game, like they did the last game situations, then I think the Vikings are going to take care of them better.
Yeah, because like this is what's interesting. The thing is well, I was gonna say like Philly's going up against the near carbon copy of itself. Tough run game, quarterback doing what it just has to do to win. Well, my thing is, you might be asking, who do I trust more, Nick Foles or Case Keenum, which I think is a funny question. Me personally, I trust Case Keenum more based off of the fact that what he has done this postseason as well as this season. Like, because if you look at the nature of both these quarterbacks, Nick Foles had a much shorter time of and like getting the rust off per se, as opposed to Case Keenum, who's had it all season.
Yeah.
Like just setting the NFL world on fire. But again, I'm not going to be shocked whoever wins this game because it is a 50-50 game. I have it going down to the wire. I got it being a game-winning field goal, and whoever. And again, I do not care who wins as long as New England's not there, and and I say the best of luck to any teams. I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
Because as long as it's a new matchup, that's all I care about.
Yeah, I just think that it's just I'm gonna be nerve wracked the whole time. My heart rate's gonna be up. I just think you got to play the field position battle. I think you need to get your points when you can, especially against Minnesota, who they're so stingy on defense.
Oh yeah,
you're gonna have to get pressure in Case Keenum's face. I really do think that if you're just gonna go with four guys, then you're not gonna win. I think one of the you know what the status of Zendejo is?
I have no idea, man.
People are saying that he could play, but he's still on concussion protocol. Like there were people who were like, "Oh, he still might play anyway."
Everyone will play. No, I don't know. I seriously don't know who's gonna play.
They still have Diggs. They still have an amazing receiving core. Their backs are really good. It's just you just got to play in front of you, and that's it.
Yeah.
And I will be so pissed if the referees start BS. I'm already
and then we're just
because of my tinfoil hat theories.
Hey, but that's just the theory.
But that's just a game theory.
Yeah, exactly.
So
it's funny.
Yeah.
I want to mention this because there's actually a site, and I think it's pretty funny. It's like a wiki, and they kind of just like they do Super Bowl predictions before the season begins, right? It had the Eagles having the best record in the league versus the Kansas City Chiefs, Philly winning, with LeGarrette Blount winning and Super Bowl MVP, which I will sincerely laugh. I know it's not Kansas City, but if the Philadelphia Eagles win the Super Bowl this year and that's your MVP, I'm gonna just like die of laughter.
Right.
Just considering the fact that
Just considering somebody predicted it. Yeah.
Yeah. So anywho.
You have any last words?
Yeah, just best of luck to all those teams that are out there. I'm just hoping that the Super Bowl is something original, that being Jacksonville versus Minnesota, I want it to be Minnesota because they haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah.
and Jacksonville's never been there. Wink would be a fresh matchup. But would I be mad if Philly made it? No. I mean,
Just-
it's whatever.
But they're probably going to be the one team that does make it.
Wait, what's that?
Oh, I said that the New England is probably going to be the one team that does make it, though.
Yeah, and again, would I be shocked if New England wins another ring? No, because let me just tell you this: if New England makes it, they're probably gonna win, and I don't mean that to be very down or anything. It's just we've seen it happen. They've taken apart teams that are inexperienced.
Yeah.
Heck, 5 of their Super Bowls are against teams that have either never been there or have little to no experience.
Yeah.
So
that's true. All right, everybody. This was awesome. Hope everyone has a good weekend and
don't die.
Don't drink base liquids. And if you have a fantasy football team, please start Harrison Butker.
Yeah, obviously.
And go into the Facebook page and the Two Birds and a Third Facebook page to watch the Friday night roundup by Josh and DJ. They did. I listened to some of it last night. And if you have another fantasy football league, don't start Nick Folk.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't start Nick Folk because you will. So yeah.
Anyhow, that about does it for this edition of Here's the Thing at the End of the Day, and we are signing off.
Don't die.